Today I want to talk about how to become unstuck from procrastination. So, procrastination, the way I define it, is the fear of making the wrong decision, so you make no decision, which is the worst decision. And the reason that is because if you think about the way the universe and the law of attraction works in your behalf, when you make a decision and say, there's where I'm going, in that direction, to that target, here I go. The universe then will fill in the grid for you with everything that supports that choice. So with people, with events, with opportunities, with everything that you need to fulfill that pathway that leads you to that destination or that target. Now, a lot of times you're like, but there's no path there. And that's quite all right, because the actual bridge from here to there will actually start to fill itself in, which is also that grid again. As you make one step after the other, the pathway will reveal itself to you. But if you never make the choice to begin in a direction, to make a choice, then the bridge never begins to fill. The universe doesn't know what you want. So as you're like this, I'm afraid to make the wrong decision. I need to know all the information before I can make that decision. I need to be fully certified. I need to have all the answers so I can be certain that I have the best possible chance. Well, guess what? The universe, law of attraction, is going to meet you right where you are. So if you're here like this in procrastination, then that's exactly where you're going to be met. And nothing is going to, you might get lucky and a little idea squeak through a little crack, that gives you a little bit of guidance or clarity so that you can make that decision. But, and that does happen, but, the chances are far fewer that you're going to get that guidance that's going to squeak in. The best thing you can do is just make a decision, begin to move in a direction. The grid will begin to fill in, or also the bridge will begin to build itself beneath your feet in that direction that's going to support you in the shortest, most direct path to what you say you want in that decision. You see, here's the good news. Let's say you make a decision. Let's say you begin in that path, down that pathway towards that direction, that target. And when you were making that decision, you were testing it. Yes, no. Do I do this? Yes. Do I do this? No. You made that decision. It felt good. You felt heavier weight in one hand or the other. You felt heat in one hand or cool in one hand or the other. Some sort of guidance from your internal guidance system. It felt like yes. Okay? It felt like no, but it felt like yes. You begin to move in that direction. But all of a sudden, when you begin to move in that direction, it comes over you with a totally different feeling. You're like, uh-oh, I don't have that same feeling of certainty that I had when I was asking yes, no answers to my internal guidance system. Well, the good news is that you get to change your decision at any time. So a lot of people that I work with think that they have to make a decision and they have to stick with that decision. And I say, no. You have to make a decision and you follow that decision as long as it feels good. And the moment it doesn't feel as good, or you're certain that this is not the choice, this is not the way, you make a new decision in a new direction, and you follow that direction as long as it feels good. So essentially, everything that I want to share with you is, what is the next decision that's going to feel great to me, and the next decision after that that's going to feel great, and the next decision after that that's going to feel great. And if you just lived your life following the next best feeling after the other, that's divine guidance. You're divinely led. Some chapters last longer than other chapters. So nothing is permanent. Don't be afraid to make a decision and head in a direction, because a lot of times that direction won't last that long, but it was meant to get you to come far enough to get the next guidance, to get the next answer, you see. But if we're like this, we're getting no answers. We're afraid to make a decision because it might be the wrong decision, because it might not last permanently, right? So you just stay like this. So guess what? Nothing happens. And then you become more and more frustrated, more and more irritated. When all you have to do is trust that you are in touch with your internal guidance system, that you can feel the direction you should be going, that you can trust when you muscle test yes, no answers, whether you do it in the palms of your hands or whether you do it in muscle testing with arms, whether you do it anything. Develop your own guidance system, but every time you're doing one of these, yes, no, one of these, yes, no, one of yes or no, you're getting closer and closer to your internal guidance system, to where eventually you don't even need to do anything except think about it. And you're immediately going to get a feeling and you trust that feeling and you begin to move in the direction of that feeling. But first we've got to go through these other things of muscle testing, yes, no answers, false starts, to be able to tune ourselves to that frequency of our internal guidance system. And then eventually, I got to the point where I was helping people remove trapped emotions through muscle testing. And I could ask a question of yes, no, or on this scale right here, which one am I supposed to be focusing on? That the answer would come to me before I did this. Didn't start out that way. I had to work myself into that connectivity to my guidance system. But eventually I had the answer coming up to me without even having to do muscle testing. So that's where we want to get, is to the ability to be able to hear and trust our internal guidance system instantly. But the way we do that is we have to begin making choices. And trust me, I win the actual trophy for being the greatest procrastinator. For years I did that. And it was so frustrating to me. And so I encourage you to take the leap in some direction. There are more answers waiting for you once you begin in a direction. So, procrastination. You might be stuck right now. The way to get unstuck is make a decision. I don't care what it is. Right now, I'm going to make this choice. I'm going to head in that direction until I feel otherwise. I guarantee you there are answers and guidance waiting for you to say either keep going in this direction or make a new choice. And if you hadn't come this far, you wouldn't be able to see what that new optional choice is. So simply making a decision is the way to get unstuck from procrastination. The fear of making the wrong decision. So you make no decision, which is the worst decision. Okay? Get out there, take the leap. Law of attraction will meet you there. All of a sudden, downloads will be coming from the universal cloud. You're going to be amazed. Make one decision after the other. Don't stay stuck. Don't procrastinate. Take care.